Alright everybody, welcome to the Netrunner Worlds. This is the first game, the Netrunner Worlds. We have the runner, Jeremy Z, on the left, and Ben Marsh playing the Corp, Haas-Bioroid on the right. I'm Steven from Team Covenant, joined by Robert.
That's me.
And we're going to take you on a mystical journey through the mind and heart of these two players. At least that's what we hope.
Look at all the hands the runner has.
Yes, and the runner is playing Criminal. So we have Jeremy playing Criminal and Ben is playing Corporation. This was probably the most common matchup at Worlds. Haas-Bioroid was certainly the favored Corporation, and Criminal was certainly the favored runner, at least in these top matches. From what we've seen, and it is always an interesting match. Of course, Haas-Bioroid having some awesome ice, but also having the, I guess, downside of runners being able to break through it with actions. So sometimes that comes into play. And then Criminal, very interesting runner, just because there's a lot of running to gain credits. There's a lot of attacking HQ, but there's also Sneak Door Beta that can attack the archives and then still get to HQ. So protecting all of your servers against the criminals is very difficult. Icebreakers aren't the best, but that's what they get for having such sweet economy on other things. So we see the first turn here, starting with Ben, and he's protecting his hand with the ice there, then protecting his deck as well. And we'll see if he follows it up with the infamous hedge fund, which he did not. Instead, it looks like he's just going to draw a card.
So you have to wonder what is going on in this game pretty much every time, because is everything a cue to what the reality of the situation is? Is he protecting his hand because he has agendas in there aplenty, or just one or two? You know, you have to start questioning everything from the onset. Protecting his deck, the R&D, is always a good idea, of course, but then he's got that other piece of ice just sitting out there. It's like, just going ahead and protecting whatever crop he wants to plant there, but already we have a run going on R&D.
Yeah, Jeremy opens here with a sure gamble. That's pay 5 to gain 9 bits, so it nets you 4. And we got the first piece of ice res. It's a roto turret. It's going to have 2 subroutines, trash a program in the run. It's 0 strength. So that's just going to stop Jeremy there. And then the hand run is successful. So Jeremy gains 2 for his Criminal Gabriel ability. And immediately picks an agenda right out of the hand there.
Yoinketh. And
so
that was accelerated beta test by the look of it.
Yep.
Which is a 2-point agenda, 3 to develop it, and once you do, as the Corp, you get to look through the top 3 cards of R&D, select any ice out of it, and res it in play, paying none of the costs.
Yeah, which is really sweet, and that's often kind of the key to success for HB, so I'm sure he's sad to see that beta test go. Last action on the runner side here is to draw a card. So we have Gabriel sitting at 11 credits and 2 agenda points. HB climbing in with gaining a credit and installing. Now every time HB install, the first time they do it each turn, install a card, they do gain a credit. So we're going to see this economy kind of tick up, and you can trace it there in the top right of the screen as we see kind of the spikes in the credit gain for HB. So Jeremy's going to run again on the hand, first action. Daring Ben to res that piece of ice. Probably wants to know what it is.
Not gonna.
But no, he gets straight 2 more credits for his Gabriel ability. And he hits a snare. Out of house.
Snare time.
Out of house, out of agenda, out of faction. What do we call it in that?
Out of Corp.
Identity? Alright, so 3 net damage. Yikes. He had to pay for it, but 3 net damage, and he takes a tag.
Always worth the cost. Always worth the cost.
So now he's gonna have to. He's gonna want to shake that tag for sure. Now you notice this is kind of the Criminal special. He has done nothing. He's installed no programs. Right now he is just on top of things and hoping to stay that way. I often heard it said, I think at our store at least, that a good Criminal deck actually never installs an icebreaker. So that certainly was a bit hyperbolic, I'm sure, but still, yeah, it is important to remember.
That's right.
So that roto turret's a really nice little piece of protection going on with the deck. And back into the hand we go. And the last
another
card.
Turret in the hand. Doesn't want that. So now it's the Corp's turn. Drawing a card, of course. They got it.
Gain a credit.
Nice. Up to 2. He just doubled his money.
That's right.
What's that like?
And gained 2 credits. So obviously looking to, well, hopefully res some ice a little bit later down the road. And we're going back over.
Or hopefully draw into some of those HB staples like Adonis Campaign, or even the not in-house, but pad campaign. I always forget what that's called.
The classic.
The pad campaign. Just pad it.
The classic pad campaign.
Because, you know, you're padding your bank account.
I get it.
See?
Now, Jeremy is, I really like how he's doing his actions here.
Running that remote.
It's really easy. Alright, running a remote. Let's see if we're going to res. Usually, early game, this is going to be an in-the-run piece of ice, probably a barrier of some kind or something.
Paying 3.
Yeah, there we go. Wall static. This is perfect early game, especially against a player that plays criminal. I'm just going to stop them cold, and they're going to have to dig through and try to find a barrier breaker, which isn't very good unless they splash one.
That's right.
I believe it's Aurora, I think, is the criminal.
Mm-hmm. I think that's right.
And it's okay.
Not the best.
Okay.
Not the best.
So we've got one remote server here established by Ben, followed by a central server with a piece of ice over the hand that has not been rezzed hardly at all. And this is an interesting play, right? Against criminal, your HQ is how they're getting their money.
That's right.
And so I'm a little bit surprised that Ben hadn't maybe instead put the roto turret on his hand. Obviously, the piece of ice he did put down is either too expensive or it's not going to do anything for him right now. Maybe a classic HP piece of ice that just trashes programs and doesn't end the run or something. And, of course, there's no programs out, so what does Gabriel Santiago care?
Yeah, that's right. And worth noting right now that the runner has 10 times the credits that the Corp has. It's 10 to 1. That's a pretty big deal. What does that make you feel like for both sides of this equation, Steven?
Well, again, you see now that Ben has had to spend pretty much his entire turn gaining credits.
Yep.
And that's slowing him down tremendously. He's not drawing into cards that might help him. He can't even afford an Adonis campaign right now. He is poor, and a poor corporation is just essentially a sitting duck for the runner. So we have a special order played, and he's going to try to take advantage of the fact that there's no money on the table on the corporation side.
None
Going
money.
to get an icebreaker of his choosing, and he does splash the Corroder, the Anarch barrier breaker. Very popular program. The criminals have obviously picked this one up from watching Wizard and Noise be so successful against those walls of static and ice walls especially. So he's got the Corroder out. Only costs him 2. Well, he doesn't have it out yet, but I'm certain that he will. It's going to cost him 2, and he's going to be able to break right through to that remote server and take a look at what the Corp's hiding down there.
Let's hope it's a trap for the Corp's sake, because let me tell you.
All right, so 2 to install.
Uh-oh, here we go.
7 bits. He's going to go right into that remote server. He's going to have to pump its strength by 1 and pay 1 to break. And it looks like just a Project June bug.
Ouch!
A trap, but it was unadvanced, so it doesn't take any damage from it. Oftentimes, HB will do this kind of stuff just to install a card for the credit on that turn. Always a good idea to have plenty of things to install in those HB decks.
Ooh,
all right, another piece
ice.
of ice. He's gonna have to pay 1 for it, but you know he doesn't. He gets 1 whenever he installs, so
it's
it
a wash
nets out. Yeah. So puts another one down and advances. Now this is quick, considering that he is, you know, he's so behind in credits, and he chooses to spend 1 to advance.
That's right.
It's got to make the runner say that's probably a trap, but then again, if it's not,
can I take that risk? Can he take it?
There could be another just maybe an enigma up there.
But if it's a beta test, watch out.
Watch out.
That's one of the last things you ever want to see get scored. HB just loves those free pieces of ice. It's great.
It's an interesting play because up top here you have, unless he's splashing an ice wall or something, in which case the Corroder would still get through both those pieces of ice, protecting that remote server with a second piece of ice. You got to think. So let's say best case scenario is something like an Enigma that ends the run, costs 3 to res. You res it, and then you're out of credits again. So you can't even advance that agenda next turn.
Right.
So this is really kind of sitting on a liability here from the looks of it. We'll see if Gabriel gets in there. So he installs the Ninja, an excellent icebreaker. Sentry Breaker, that's going to help against that Roto Turret. And he's not even going to have to pump the strength to get through to that R&D.
That's amazing. So let's see, he's gaining some
Gain 2
credits.
off of Armitage, yeah. Just doing some basic work.
You
just
know,
going to Armitage and a little bit of programming.
Runner's got to eat too.
That's right. But in his spare time, there he goes, right to the deck. Let's see what he gets at. So pays 2 to get past the roto turret.
Look like a piece of ice.
Sees a toll booth. That's what it looked like to me,
yeah.
which is the last thing you want to see.
Nice.
Now, is he going to run this remote server? This is a clutch moment.
I know, I would want to.
At this point,
I would really want to.
I think this is a bit of a mistake. He's sitting on only 1 credit, so now he can't even break through that ice, that wall of static.
So he did.
If that's an agenda, it's going to get scored. There it is.
More creds. Was it beta test?
No, that is a private security force.
Oh, nice.
Cost him 4, and you gain 2 agenda points. I think Jeremy could have gotten that one if he had just run there.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, he delays the agenda scoring for a turn.
It's true.
Takes a look. So
it's this and that all the time.
He is the
Got to watch out for those tags now.
Absolutely. Let's see. What do we got? First action. Running R&D. Still liking the R&D play.
What's that?
And he sees something. Not sure what it is. Oh, is it an agenda? The grab is always such a tease.
Yeah, he just wants to look at it.
Is it?
What are you going to get? No, he would have plopped it if it had been
an agenda. Yeah, I think
agenda.
it would have flopped. And it's going right back on top.
You can have that.
Probably a piece of ice, maybe an upgrade that he wasn't happy with.
I mean, what else are you going to be happy with? If you get okay, so like let's say you run R&D and it's something other than an agenda. How big of a deal is it to remember what it is you pulled? How much effort do you go about in terms of trying to trash that thing? I mean, do you run R&D and save some credits to trash? I mean, what do you feel like is usually good run?
Against HB, it's kind of an interesting scenario. You kind of want to have 3 going into R&D to trash those Adonis campaigns when they come up.
Right.
It's always good to go there to get June bugs out of the deck. You know he's splashing them now. Some killer upgrades in HB that you oftentimes want to trash. So, you know, I like going in with credits, but Jeremy decided to just take a look. He was just curious, and we see Armitage doing some work here. Gained a couple of bits that turn, and also gained 2 for successfully accessing HQ. And Jeremy again has to spend his, or I'm sorry, Ben has to spend his entire turn just gaining credits. Gaining credits. So right now he really is a sitting duck. We're looking for these agendas here on R&D, assuming they're not in the hand. Oh, we got another grab, and back on top.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to touch it to know it's real.
That's true. And sometimes you're just so disappointed it's not an agenda that you...
well, let me see what that is.
Quite sad. Now, we're gonna keep an eye on what that ice was that's above the wall of static.
Yeah.
That's important. If it costs more than 3 to res, definitely should have been in there getting that agenda on Jeremy's side.
That's very true. Very true. So what's...
draw a card for the second action. He's got a strong little suite of icebreakers for the scenario you see on the board. Got a Corroder and, of course, the Ninja. All that he's missing is a Code Gate Breaker. I don't know if he's running one in... I don't think Criminal at this point has one. There's since been a new data pack with Peacock, but as I remember, they may have one, but it's no good, or they just don't have one. Because I don't know that I've ever seen a Criminal Code Gate Breaker. But perhaps he splashes, which we will check out. So back to HQ and easy 2 bits once again. And there's another piece of ice in the hand. Looks like an Ichi. What is that piece of ice protecting the hand?
I don't know.
And why was it installed so early?
Can we sneak a peek real quick? Is there a way to do that?
Can we tap maybe tap Ben on the shoulder?
Hey, psst. Look at that. Show us what that is.
Yeah, so we're gonna settle in here for what appears to be a very long and it's gonna be an excellent game. And just enjoy the soothing words of Robert and Steven in the booth. We have an install, which gains a credit, and then we take 2 credits from the bank on the corp side.
I like seeing all the credits accumulating now. I always feel bad for the corporation when they're poor, because I mean these guys have all kinds of things going on. They should be just flowing in the dough. But whenever I'm playing corp, I really feel at ease, not necessarily by how many agenda points I have or how few the runner has, but by how many credits I have, so I can res that piece of ice at a critical moment when I need it. Because like you said earlier, if you get down to the bottom of the coffer and it's now empty, it's just like, man, what do I do? Because now the runner can just have their way with me, and I'm just at their mercy. It's so unnerving to just sit there and be like, oh my gosh.
Absolutely. And a good runner is going to force you to make hard choices. knowing that you can probably only res one piece of ice here. I'm going to hit HQ. If you res it, then I'm going to go R&D knowing that you can't res that. Or I'm going to go to your remote knowing you can't res that. So the runner's always got to stay on their toes and think about ways to put the corp in those kinds of really bad positions. There's a lot of contemplation going on now here in this period of the game. Jeremy's definitely taking his time figuring out what he wants to do here. He's still working for Armitage for a few more days, looks like. Gonna take 2 off of Armitage there, just put some time in and gain 2 credits. And HB's sitting over there, probably happy that there's not as much infiltration right now as there was in the early game.
I can only imagine though, like when I haven't played as much as some, but whenever a turn or an action has been taken that doesn't involve making a run, even if it's entirely beneficial to the runner, like gaining a buttload of credits or whatnot, I'm always just breathing that small sigh of relief. It's like, oh man, thank goodness I wasn't forced to do anything.
All right, so we have another splash, the Data Sucker, coming in for Gabriel. That's an excellent little program. It costs 1. It is a virus, and every time you make a successful run on a central server, you get to put a virus counter on that thing. And why that's great is that whenever you encounter a piece of ice, you can remove virus counters from Data Sucker to lower that ice's strength. So it makes it very efficient. It makes it a lot better for things like Ninja that often don't need to pump all the way, +5 strength, to get in there. Ninja's kind of downfall is that it often has to over pump because its only option is paying 3 to gain. And Data Sucker helps alleviate this for smaller pieces of ice. So we're going to run R&D here, and it looks like...
What do we got?
Is that an Ichi?
Looks like...
Fully rezzed. Now Jeremy's back at 0. Ichi is, if I'm correct, a sentry, and we're going to see what that does, if anything, to the runner. It has a couple of trash programs on there, and then at the end of it is a Trace 1 with brain damage and a tag coming.
It's a really good piece of ice. One of my favorites for Bioroid.
So Gabriel is going to break through all those subroutines by pumping his Ninja.
See ya.
And also pumping with to get through to the Roto turret, which he doesn't. It's a 0 cost strength or a 0 strength piece of ice, so Ninja can just spend the credits to break. 0 credits now for both players. This is what you like to see on the runner, certainly. And now he gets 2 easy credits, sees a toll booth, and a successful HQ run has been very nice for him. Yeah. Draw goes straight out to the remote server, installs for 1 credit, so that's easy.
Easy money.
We've got there we go, 2 more actions, 2 more credits. How hard it is to just simply take credits as the corporation turn after turn.
It is.
But you got to give it to Ben. He is still making a game of this thing.
Yeah, totally. With 3 credits and only 5 that last turn, I mean, it's quite a turnaround.
Slowly building up these servers.
Yeah. But once you get them all built up, there's no better feeling in the world. It's like, here I am in my fortress of impregnable ice.
That's right.
It's like, you're not scoring nothing. Not once, not never.
Yeah. Toll booth, I think, is going to come into play certainly in this game. We know that it's in the hand of the corp here. It's in Ben's hand, and there's nothing worse than a toll booth on a server that you really want to check into.
That's right. You can't afford paying 3.
Every time, no matter what. Doesn't matter how many breakers you got. You got to pay 3.
You got to pay 3, and that, oh my God, it's so awful when you would hit that. It's like, I could have broken through, but now I don't have enough to boost its strength, much less break anything.
We finally see this piece of ice.
What is it?
So this is Victor 1.0, if I'm not mistaken. This is a... You're more of an HB expert. I think Victor has a couple of subroutines. You can break them with actions, and then you also have some nasty subroutines there.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to dig in a little bit and find out what those are, because I think that's important.
Yes. Is it the one that you lose a click or something like that, or... I think it totally ends the run. I'm not even sure. I can't remember. I was brain farting here. Like
some of that HB ice is great because it doesn't end the run.
That's true.
For the runner, at least.
You just sail on through, having all these terrible things happen to you along the way.
So we thought Jeremy was done with Armitage, but it turns out he got another contract, and now he's back in, gaining bits just to... fund his spare efforts.
He met all of his deadlines, and they're like, hey, dude, you did some quality work, turned in everything on time. Why not, if you have the time yourself, come back in. We'll pay you the same rates. You can do the same work. It's fine.
Not bad rates either.
Yeah, not bad rates. I mean, it's way more efficient than what you do ordinarily, right? So why not take that action and get to your credits? It's a good swap. So let's see. Corp, plug-in, chug-in, drawing the card, assessing, credits.
And back over to the runner.
That's right.
All right, so let's take a look at Victor. This is a core piece of ice. Of course, it's a 3 cost to res. You can spend actions to break subroutines on it. It has 2 subroutines, do 1 brain damage and end the run. It is a code gate. Why that wasn't being resed earlier?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't tell you.
I don't know.
Maybe there was just enough actions to break it, or what. But I don't know. I like getting that piece of ice up early. I think there'd be a lot less HQ runs without a code gate breaker on the table.
Worth noting that this is the 1.0 version of Victor, so we can only imagine how much better the 1 point whatever or even the 2 point whatever will be once HB gets around to unveiling that. As with all their ice, it's just going to be a great time when that second version comes out.
Great time for who?
HB!
Alright, so we have Forge activation orders. Res it or lose it. Is it 3 credit ice?
Oh,
no,
it's a
roto turret.
See ya!
So an agenda could have been stolen earlier, without a doubt. But alas.
But knowledge is power in this game. It's so true. It's so simple and cliche a thing to say, but knowing what's up in this game is the avenue to winning it. So knowing that that thing is there and now gone, it's great. Looking at a piece of ice, skipping a piece of ice, it's the best things you can do in this game.
Yep.
All right.
At least as the runner. Corp hates it. Corp hates it.
We have another piece of ice being installed here. Looks like there's a bit of confusion.
Ready.
And what is going on there? Ah. Huh? Huh?
Huh?
Alright. Oh. Is he? Yeah,
Develop.
okay. He decides to develop. A little bit of hesitation there, it
Still
seems.
got that remote out there. I can't help but think it's probably a pad campaign. I don't think Gabriel has checked in on it yet, so no one's really concerned about it. Who knows? Could be an agenda. What if that's the case?
That's right. Well, we're sitting here contemplating. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsor today. It's Haas-Bioroid, engineering the future.
For you, maybe.
Oh man, it's a long deliberation. What is there to think about this intensely? I mean, are you going to drop a piece of ice on that remote? Are you going to develop? I mean, if knowing what we don't know about the corpse board right now, what seems the most appealing thing to you?
It's probably a matter of, I want to install over there on top of that remote over the wall of static behind it. But I don't have the credits to do it.
That's right.
Is there a way for me to get credits? Is there a way for me to make this trap that I just put down even more appealing? Should I develop it again to make them think that I'm going to score it? But then you got to think, well, the runner's going to know it's a trap because no one would put 2 development on an agenda behind a wall of static that's so easily broken.
But maybe they're assuming that somebody would think that as the runner, and they'll say, well, of course it's a trap, I'll never run it. And then, boom, it was an agenda the whole time.
Exactly.
Developed right under your nose. So
there's some quote about a Sicilian important here. All right, special order. Going to get a what I can only imagine is a code gate breaker, and we'll get to take a look at what we got here. Yogg. Oh, baby, another Anarch splash. Gabriel has been hanging out with those Anarchs. It's not good for him, although he has picked up some excellent programs. Yogg is perfect for things like roto turrets. It can break code gates for 0. 3 strength or less. For 0. It can't pump itself, but that's what data sucker's for. Gabriel's picked up a lot of tricks here.
That's right. This watch.
Boom, there goes
it is.
Yogg. Costs 5.
Well worth it. Well worth it. Because now, guess what?
Where is he going?
He's going to make a run. Boom.
On the HQ. Here
it comes.
And Yogg breaks for free.
Break.
Boom, boom. Gabriel gains 2 for his ability to be a criminal and infiltrate HQ effectively.
And
hey, look, it's still the toll booth.
The toll booth. Tickets, please. Okay, so let's say you are the runner, though, and you've been making a whole bunch of runs on HQ, and you keep drawing junk.
Mm-hmm.
Do you assume that luck is against you and that you're just not ever going to pull an agenda out of there and you start running elsewhere, like on R&D and that kind of thing? Or are you persistent and you keep going for the gold?
Well, you know, at a certain point, again, here we see an interesting move.
A development and an ice being laid down?
Basically, install a piece of ice.
Yeah.
And then that bit cancels out, gain a bit, and then spin it to immediately develop. We've got all 3 icebreakers here. That can't be an agenda down there. I'm sure that's what Runner is thinking here. Can't be an agenda. No one would be that crazy. But then again, like you said, the psychology of it all is interesting. Pulling a wall of static here. To answer the question, you know, if you're not getting anything out of HQ, you know the agendas are somewhere. They're either in the remotes or they're in the deck. And if they're not finding them in the hand, then you got 2 other places to go, which is why the game is so good. And in fact, right now, they could even be in archives.
Oh my gosh, they could even be there. I had forgotten. There's some face-down cards there. That's crazy. Drawn a card for the criminals.
Criminal draws.
What was it? We'll never know until he plays it.
And again, this remote server over here is very weird. It can't be Enigma. That code gate will just get rocked by Yogg.
Yep.
It can be another wall of static, but Gabriel has the credits to break them both.
Mm-hmm.
Not really much use putting a sentry up there. Can't res anything except for maybe you can res Victor, but that's a code gate. Rototurret's 4. You gotta. Do you find out here? If it is Project Junebug, you're in for some trouble.
Well, you know what killed the cat, right? Curiosity.
Junebugs.
Junebugs and traps.
And this is where the much lauded and much hated infiltration card comes in.
That's right.
Because boy, would it be nice to know.
It would be nice to know. Or inside job. Anything. Anything.
Anything.
Anything.
What is that? What is it?
We want to know.
I want to be playing right now.
Jeremy, come on, just run.
Show us, Jeremy. Come on. Show us.
You know you want.
Data sucker at 4 virus counters. I mean,
it's ready to blow something up.
You're getting through anything.
HQ again.
Right back to HQ.
I want to pull that toll booth again. Watch it. Watch it. Here it comes. Good shuffle. Wait for it.
And
that's a wall of static.
Wall of static again.
You're just never going to get anything out of that.
It's never going to happen.
That's depressing. It's a little depressing.
I'm a little bit upset about it. All right, so, oh my gosh. What did we res over there?
I don't know.
Looks like a
phenomenal glare.
Maybe a pad campaign?
I would assume. What did he spend? He spent 2?
Well, yes, he spent 2.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That would give us some indication.
I believe he spent 2, right?
Yeah, I think it was at 4. Went down to 2. And then he installed even swap on the credit. And then...
gained a few more.
Yep.
So pad campaign sitting over there puts Gabriel in a very interesting position. Do you go over there and pay 4 just to get rid of it? Or you let them tick in 1 credit every turn?
But all I have is 4.
Now, this is especially weird against Criminal because they have Bank Job. Bank Job is one of the Criminal standard cards. You basically lay it down, put 8 credits on it, and then you can attack a remote server. And instead of accessing that server, you know what you do? You get 8 credits off of that Bank Job, or any number that you want, but you almost always want all 8. And so this is just an open, here's 8 credits Gabriel kind of situation. Does he have Bank Job? We don't know. I think he probably would have already unveiled it if he had.
Yeah.
But as long as that stays out there, that's an easy 8 credits for the Criminal whenever he draws in, because you know he's running it.
It's true. Okay.
Back to the hand.
HQ again, but there's, wait, new ice in the way. What could it be, and does he have enough to res it? And will he res it? So many things to consider.
Yeah, 4 credits. And if he reses it, what else can he do?
You know, it'd be great if they made a flowchart for all this. Oh, but wait, they did.
They did.
Success. They were thinking.
All right, what is that? What is that? Ben, what is it?
Can't see. He's at just enough of a tease angle to show us that it is, in fact, ice. But what ice?
We don't know. We're just as helpless as the runner here, except we don't have control of our destiny.
That's right. We need to equip all these players with, like, a head cam.
That's right.
Where we can see exactly what they're looking at, what they're seeing.
Perhaps Haas-Bioroid would develop that for us.
That's right. There's a camera within your own eye. feeding that information to a remote server.
Seems like something they would do.
Oh, it's totally what they would do. I would love it. They're engineering the future.
Oh, Archer.
Archer.
What?
Sweet.
So in an unexpected Archer splash, we're going to chuck Private Security Force. And this puts Gabriel, Jeremy, in a very interesting,
tight spot.
position. Now, he is well equipped to handle Archer right now. He can lower its strength by 5 if he wants to. He can break those subroutines. This could have been a much more disastrous Archer for a less prepared board. But we'll see how Jeremy deals with it. I believe that he's just going to probably break everything, and he has the option of jacking out or just keeping through and, of course, paying 0 to break through the next piece. So we're going to use 2 virus counters to lower its strength. We're going to pay 3 to pump the Ninja up to 4, making it able to interact with Archer.
And then
First Subroutine Corp gains 2. Looks like he's going to break everything except for that first one. So Ben gets 2 bits, and then in return he gets 2 for successfully accessing HQ as per the criminal special ability right now. He gets a virus counter for the successful run on a central server, and he accesses 1 card, which is, looks like a piece of HB Ice. HQ has just been non-productive today.
That's right. We don't keep any of our agendas here. They're all on our remote servers.
They're all in remote or still being developed.
Yeah, that's right. R&D's really taking their time these days. You know, we keep calling down there, but they just keep blowing us off. Oh, we'll have that agenda ready next week. Blah blah blah. So it's pretty quiet around here in HQ. Just eating donuts, drinking coffee,
Sitting on ice.
sitting on ice.
Just trying to find some money.
You know, we're just gaining a credit here, gaining a credit there. You know, same old, same old. Nothing special.
I feel like if HBHQ does sound like that, it's a lot more robotic.
just drinking coffee and eating donuts. Ha ha ha. Gaining credits here and there.
All right, 2 actions left for Jeremy here. Where does he run? I'm still so curious about that remote, especially now there's only 2 credits in the pool.
I know.
How many? If you got enough cards,
He's not resin that ice.
If you got enough cards to eat the June bug, sometimes just eat it to find out.
That's right.
For your viewers, if nothing else. Ichi's doing a great job here, though, of dissuading any runs on R&D. So Gabriel goes back to Armitage, does a bit of pickup temp work, and is a little bit richer for it. But we all know he's just going to blow all the money he spent on infiltrating corporations.
Or pizza.
Probably corporations.
Oh, man.
Although
like we said earlier, runners got to eat too, man.
Pizza delivery card would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Maybe a corp card, like runner loses 3 credits.
Or they lose like a brain damage or something.
All right, and
Wouldn't
he goes
that be
over
sweet?
and trashes pad campaign. Good and bad for Gabriel.
That's right.
Because bank job could always be drawn into, so you kind of want an open remote.
Uh-oh.
Oh, but he gets another one.
There's another pad.
So who cares? And all credits.
But what if it's not a pad?
All credits.
What if it's not a pad?
I think at this point, it's absolutely a trap down there.
After,
unless...
so after pad campaign gets trashed, you would anticipate a trap going down as opposed to an actual like beneficial asset.
No. I think the trap behind the wall is static.
Oh, I see.
At this point, it has not been developed in a while. It's sitting there doing nothing unless Jeremy or Ben is the most ballsy corporation ever. That is a trap without any doubt.
I mean, but what if you just feel like you've got your opponent figured out, and it's like, I'm just gonna take it easy here, dude it out. Because the dude would work for HB, of course, if anyone.
Oh, I don't think so at all.
But, I mean, you're just going to relax. You're going to take it easy, be confident in your bluff, and just assume that, oh, see, he's not going to run it.
There's the remote, another pad campaign. You going to trash that
trash
one?
it? Nope.
The equation is similar, yet the choice is no.
It's like, I already spent 4 for that. He's just going to keep drawing them. You don't want that.
Yeah, I think, if nothing else, he's going to want... He's going to want Ben to pay to res it, and then he can go over there and trash it. At least that's not quite as bad.
Yeah. Because he's already gained a credit for installing it anyway, right?
Yeah, that's why HB is just efficient. But they do have a new identity out.
That's right.
+1 strength to all ice, which also is ludicrous. All HB ice. Ichi, Victor, Roto Turret now is not nearly as ninja easy. It's great.
And Janice really needed that one boost too.
A lot of different ways that HB can bring it now, and very exciting time for the corporation. A lot in development, it seems like. What else do we have? We have one more action coming from the runner.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Data sucker fully loaded, and that's always a bad feeling on the corporation side.
There's nowhere else to go but up or down.
And just gain a credit.
Sweet.
Guess that Armitage work wasn't working out so well.
There's that pad campaign. Lose 2, gain 1.
Bad campaign.
It's a great little card. Great little card. So he's broken even between installing and rezzing now. So now it's just profit from here on out.
That's right, and HB does profit best. Well, except for maybe Wayland. A hedge fund, much needed hedge fund. So HB now is looking at a great return on some investments here. Up to 9 credits, maybe the most that they've had the entire game.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Which
is essential.
Crazy.
It's essential to have this many credits as the corp, because there's some expensive ice in HB. You need it to res it, and then there's not a lot of necessarily cheap development agendas, so you need a lot of credits in order to juice them up and get them scored. And that's the name of the game. Scoring those agendas. So we have 0 to 2. I'm having to sacrifice 1 to the archer. Oh,
and here comes
ice.
A big piece of ice. Only going to cost 1. Man. What's in that hand?
What is in that hand?
Or perhaps Jeremy or Ben has finally is protecting that HQ now to try to shut off that easy criminal money.
That's right.
Archer was definitely a good start, and now another piece of ice is definitely going to discourage.
If it's a toll gate, he still has 8. He still has 8 to res that puppy.
If it's a toll gate, all of a sudden HQ just does not get
run at all.
Just does not get run.
Nope.
You're paying 3, getting 2 back, going through an Archer. It's just not working.
It ain't worth it. But man, what a good feeling though. Like I was saying earlier, once you're got that ice up and it's just so unattractive, it's like, oh man, I'm feeling really good about this.
Yeah, Jeremy had him on the run, it seemed like early game. Now we're about half an hour in, and these servers are starting to look a bit more menacing. Ben seems to be favoring some more late game ice now at this stage of the game. He's starting to try to set up for a secure future. That remote, of course, is not much happening on it, but as we suspect, it is a trap. You don't really want to have to worry about developing that server yet. He does have 1 unknown piece of ice up on top of it, and that's going to make it really interesting whenever you're looking at later in the game, running that remote, finding out what's down there. Is he going to install over the perceived trap? Is he going to leave it up? What is he going to do?
That's true. But I would say that with all of that said, the most important card in this game right now is that data sucker.
Yes.
It's that data sucker. If that thing gets trashed for whatever reason, it's going to be a really sad day for that runner.
Absolutely.
Really
right. I mean, right now we're looking at +5, essentially +5 strength to whatever ice, broken up however you want over the course of a run. It's he can get through pretty much anywhere now.
Yep.
The only thing he has to worry about is 8 credits means toll booth can come up.
That's right.
So beware.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to do as a runner, is to learn your res costs, especially by whatever corp it is. Ooh!
Here comes a Parasite.
The Parasite.
-1 strength a turn. It's going to have even more reason for Ben to spend a turn to clear all those virus counters. Data Sucker now is kind of on the chopping block. I think if I were Jeremy here, I would start using those virus tokens, try to take advantage of my early investment in that thing.
Yep.
Parasite is going to start lowering the strength of that ice. Whether or not that's a concern of Ben's,
Here it comes. Here's the run.
The run, and he might just be using it to kill the ice, and boom, there it goes. So Parasite, if the strength of the ice is 0, it's trashed, and Data Sucker takes it down to 0. So see ya ice, straight through to the roto turret, costs 1, gains a virus counter, it costs 2 to break through the roto turret, gains a virus counter, maybe? Touch it?
Maybe.
No? Yes? No? Oh,
oh wait, something happened.
Back.
What?
Back. And, okay.
There it is.
Everything's fine.
There's the reveal.
Alright, so that was a successful run on R&D. Again, not fruitful. Jeremy has just been coming up blank on all of these kind of probes into the heart of the central servers here on HB. And that remote is still sitting over here, so we don't know where the agendas are right now.
That's true.
They could just be deep in the deck. And there's only a roto turret to stop Jeremy from looking.
What's he doing? Gaining a credit.
Probably gain a bit, yep.
So there's a card for HB. Will he remember his pad campaign? Or where? Get your credit. Maybe is that not what that is? Okay, there we go. There's the credit.
All right, you see the nice little spike over there. Install. So Ichi's gone. Is it something worse? Could it be the toll booth still looming? Any of those three could be the toll booth. So beware runner.
See, now if I were the runner, though, that pad campaign would start driving me insane.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh god, he's just going to keep getting free money forever.
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 The beauty of the pad campaign.
It's so cheap. Oh, more credits. 11 now?
11, yeah.
11 credits. That is pretty much a big deal.
You've got to beware ice at this point.
Let's see, what is, you still can't do a Janus. Because what, is that 15?
I don't even think, well, Janus wasn't even out at this point.
Yeah, it wasn't out at this point.
This is all core.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Forgot.
Could be a Heimdall is always looming. He could
How much does that cost,
Hadrian's. I think Heimdall is 8.
8? I thought so.
It's like toll booth.
Uh-huh.
And it's a nasty little piece of ice. I'm sure we'll see it from HB eventually. What else?
He can just res all day long.
That's right. He's well protected now, and Gabriel actually is low on cash.
Yeah, the tables have turned in the money situation here.
For sure. We just haven't seen agendas.
Yeah.
So Corp's going to have to start scoring agendas. Just now kind of getting the central servers protected. Hadn't even been working on the remotes. And Gabriel draws a card there.
I'm a card. Drawing some cards. But what else can you do now? You have to get money. Because that data sucker is just not as potent as it used to be.
Not as potent as it used to be. And the lack of resources here, there's no consistent economy. There's no... we don't see an Armitage on the board. Credits are hard to come by. HQ is hard to run. It's just a dry period, a dry spell for Gabriel. And maybe some easy marks could help out in this instance. Maybe trying to draw some cards into some answers. Got the icebreakers that are needed. We'll see.
So it's like draw some cards to get to the cards that you can get you some money. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And you'll notice what I realized what happened earlier is the whenever that parasite was installed, he was 1 MU over the 4 MU limit, so he actually had to trash his corroder.
Oh wow,
You'll
yeah,
notice
good point.
It's in the trash
good catch.
pile.
Yeah.
Which means that remote server is a heck of a lot more accessible now.
That's right.
Whether or not that's going to be taken advantage of, we shall see. Oh, I think I just saw a toll booth over HQ.
What?
Doth my eyes deceive me?
That means you can never run it.
It's not happening yet. Infiltration, here comes. Just to gain 2. Oh, that hurts. Having to spend a card to gain 2 credits. That's tough. It's essentially the same payoff, just a little bit faster. Data Sucker goes into the trash.
HB.
Jeremy feels a little bit on the run right now.
Yeah, Ben is rich. Just rich. 12 credits.
Compared to where he was, it's a marked improvement.
That's right. Uh-oh. There.
Yep.
See you later, Trap.
All right, so
How
installing
about something
over.
legitimate? And will he put a piece of ice at the end just to make sure it's going to be well protected? We'll see.
Cap, or is he going to develop?
Oh,
okay.
He's developing. Now, that piece of unriz ice, I've got to imagine, is nice and juicy. Because now you have to assume, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that, oh, he just trashed a trap, and now he's developing something legitimate.
That's right, and there goes the ice.
Okay, so yeah, there's the other piece of ice.
So he's either excellently reinforcing the myth of that being an agenda, or it's an agenda. And Jeremy's going to check on the credits here to see exactly what he's dealing with.
That's right. 10 ain't bad. 10 ain't bad at all.
10's a good credit. Still no agenda scored, and we're about 45 minutes into this game. So when there's time concerns always looming, Corporation has got to really get on it, but it looks like he's started his more or less agenda factory over there.
Yep.
He's got that remote built up, and Gabriel's going to have a hard time getting in there. I don't know what's going to happen here.
We'll see.
You've got to, I mean, you've got to look, but at the same time, we've seen so much program trashing ice already. You don't want to make a mistake and lose all of your icebreakers here.
That's right. Because HB can do it. Like nobody's business.
They can trash some programs. That is for certain. Very risky. Tense moment.
Yeah, it is a tense moment because you just have to wonder. It's like, you know, where am I going to take my risks? Where am I going to hedge my bets? And then, most importantly of all, can I afford to do any of that? And right now, I don't think Jeremy can do any of that, because if there's if Ben was super lucky and he got another toll booth and he reses that straight off, I mean, if you're dropping down to 2 credits left and then you still have to break that ice and all this kind of a thing, it's going to be impossible to get through to whatever agenda that might be down there.
That's right. He's going to have to install the corroder. Hopefully he has one in hand. That's got to be his hope. Looks like a pretty safe remote, actually, for the Corp.
Yeah, it does. I wonder what that second piece is, because I have to imagine that third one is just retardedly good. It's going to be something great.
You would think so, yeah. Or at least some way to drain money here.
Yep.
Even just a simple ice wall or wall of static is a really good bet. We know that Jeremy's splashing the corroder. That's probably going to be the only barrier breaker that he has. So he's either got to draw into another one, or he's got to waste an action on special order, go get one out of the deck, and then install it, and he's going to be low on actions. You can also sometimes want to run HB with all of your actions, because you can use them to break through their ice. So
that's true.
This is always a viable strategy.
But man, what a investment in a single run. A single run.
Especially, what if you're into stuff that doesn't have breaking with actions?
Yeah, totally.
It's like, well, I have all my actions, and now I have no programs.
That's right.
Corroder comes back out, so maybe he is going to make a play on this remote server.
But he's got 3 credits left. I hope it's not a toll gate, because man, see ya 3 creds.
Yeah, criminals always have, seems like, a trick up their sleeve. So maybe an easy mark here, maybe a bank job. Bank job would be a big deal here. Maybe some kind of surprise in that aspect. What is he going to do? Look at all the Anarch tech on the board. Excellent.
So what goes through your mind if you're playing as a runner and you have unknown ice there? Do you plan for the worst? Do you start amassing credits, or do you take a chance and just run it and see where everything falls?
Once you've seen certain players, the way that certain identities play, it's really quite different. HB is perfect because you're always afraid of your programs. Oh, hold up. We have perfect. Another wall of static right there. So that's just going to drain some credits.
Turn and burn.
It immediately means that he's not going to be able to break that next wall of static, regardless of what the middle piece of ice is. So we know that a toll booth can't come up now. He's down to 7.
Which is comforting in its own right. You could go somewhere else now if you really wanted to.
So if it's a toll booth, you use Data Sucker here, lower the strength by 1, pay 1 to break with Corroder, hope that he can't res the middle piece, and then do the same thing with the wall of static and find it out. But if it's a nasty piece of ice, at this point, Ninja can't boost and break. Your Yogg is hoping for a piece of ice that isn't heavy code gate, which probably it won't be. That's a pretty safe bet. I mean, what if it's another wall of static? There's just a number of issues here.
There's a lot of what ifs.
I'd be worried about Ichi here. I'd be worried about Ichi.
Oh man, Ichi would be great.
I'd be worried about, heck, I'd even be worried about another Archer at this point, even though I guess
he doesn't have any agendas, yeah.
So it's not altogether that risky, really, what that middle piece could be.
So let's just find out. So
is he gonna? We don't know if he's into the run yet or not.
What a deliberation.
He did in the run, so
nice.
He's not finding out. You can always tell whenever it's time to look for a new action that the current one is completed. So wall of static sandwich there. What is in the middle?
And then, oh man, like I said, thinking about that, the run has ended, and all the while, every time the Corp is taking a turn, that stupid pad campaign. And heaven forbid he gets a second one. Heaven forbid.
So, you could do credit trash pad campaign. You could gain a credit and then make that run again, and go in with 1 more in your reserves. I'm interested to know what that middle piece of ice is. We're going to have to pay attention later on in the game when it's reserved or revealed. And it looks like he's going to gain a bit or a credit in the new terminology. And is he going to go for the run again?
Is he? He's thinking about
it. I don't know.
I don't know either, dude.
Nope,
oh,
just going to gain a credit. play the safe bet.
All right, so HB doing its automatics, gaining creds.
3 developments.
3 developments, drawing his card. A lot of things
another
just
private
flying
security
around.
force. Boom.
So now he's up to 2, so which means he can play an archer again at any time.
that was an agenda. Could he have gotten through the middle piece? Let us find out later in the game, I hope.
But now he's sitting at 5, which means some of his more potent pieces of ice can't be rezzed unless it's an archer, which that would be crazy if he scored 2 agendas now and then sacks him to res 2 pieces of ice.
Yep.
It's a big deal. I mean, like, at what point do you say, oh man, this is just silly?
Well, you know, with Archer, it depends on how whether or not Gabriel can get through it or not.
Yeah.
You know, if the runner can get through Archer, then it's why do it? Why res it? Why reveal your secret? Unless you just need them to spend credits and waste money. We're going back on the deck here. I'm going to break through that roto turret, probably no problem. I assume. Yeah, using Ninja, paying 2 to break through those 2 Cerbertines. Something on top. Nope. Nothing worth having, at least.
Womp womp. R&D and HQ have been very secretive this game.
Well hidden.
Keeping things, you know, passworded. They're logging out every time they're doing anything. I mean, you're just not going to get the easy score on these guys today.
But we have seen 3 agendas. I mean, one was right off the bat out of the hand, and then the other 2 have been on remotes. So there's not, I mean, when there's a remote server established and it's got installed cards with development on it, so far it's paid off to being an agenda, except the one instance where we assume it was a trap. Gabriel has to just get some more credits, and he feels like he's playing the early game corp now, where just having to get credits every turn and not really having any inroads. And we have another remote server
That's
going on.
That's got to be another pad campaign.
It could be another pad campaign, and if we get 2 credits rolling in every turn for HB, a hedge fund pops up.
Hello.
That's a big deal.
Money.
So now even more.
That is crazy, dude. Uh-oh.
All right, and Judge is saying, hey, keep that sideways so that we know what's sticking out. Are those agendas down there?
Man.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Usually
probably not,
never.
But it's quite a gamble.
Although I will say the best time to hide agendas in your discard is against criminals, surprisingly enough, because if they're hitting your archives, it's probably because they have Sneak Door Beta, and they're going to want to go straight to your HQ, and I can't tell you how many times I've had agendas down with Sneak Door passing through and always not getting revealed in that archives. Now, we saw Ben, looks like, yep, he put another remote down there.
Holy smokes.
So we're looking at 3 remotes, passes it back over. Gabriel is going to get a sure gamble, gain some credits.
There we go. This is a game now, fellas.
That's right.
Everybody's got their money. Things are looking good. Everybody has a reason to be optimistic about their own respective future. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
We're all back in the game, and we both have 2 agendas. It's great. It's neck and neck after 52 minutes.
It absolutely is. Now you've got to look at the remotes. You've got to look at the remotes. You've got to look at the remotes.
What if it's just a pad campaign? I mean, would you pay to trash at this point?
They can't both be.
They can't both be.
There's already been
But what does that tell you? Does that mean one of them's a trap or one of them's Adonis? One of them's Adonis?
I mean, a trap doesn't really matter. It could be a snare. Is it a
yeah?
Because
we already know he's running snares. So what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, could be Adonis. I mean, I have to assume it's Adonis. In which case, you probably trash it.
Yep. No, you got to trash it, especially if you have 9 credits.
Pad campaign. I mean, at this point, I think you've got to wreck that economy. You know that you've seen all the pad campaigns you're going to see. You've got enough to trash them both. But then the Adonises could start popping up, and that's rough.
That is rough.
So he's going to go and find out.
Got to find out.
What is it?
What is it?
Looks like an Adonis from here.
Yep. Most likely. Didn't trash it.
Doesn't trash it. And
so he wants to know what that is. It's a snare.
And looks like we're going to trash that. That is an Adonis. We saw that one. So
okay,
I believe the other one was a pad campaign.
Yeah.
Or an Adonis. We're not sure yet. We'll find out when he reses.
So,
pad campaign.
Pad campaign.
Boom.
2. Gain 2.
Oh, it's getting nasty now.
Oh my gosh. HB is just going to be swimming in some cash for the rest of the game.
2 credits every single turn.
That's crazy, dude. Do you realize?
Yeah. And of course, if you're getting 2 credits a turn, you can start installing a heck of a lot more ice. I'm putting it down on
he's
that remote.
Shifting it. Nice.
Well developed.
There's going to be some heavy stuff going down on that server in the future.
That's right. And now if he doesn't put something down there, you've got to know that something's in HQ at this point.
That's right.
And is he going to put one down? He's going to draw,
and that's it.
It's hard to not run HQ at this point, but you got to always be worried about that toll booth. Sitting at 9 credits, oftentimes the corporation will sit at kind of around exactly what they need to get off their best trap or their best piece of ice. And with 9 credits, you've got to know that toll booth is somewhere, and you've got to know that he's going to res it if it's in the right spot.
Super strong intimidation factor here, especially when you know that not only does he have the credits to res the ice, but most importantly, you don't necessarily have 3 credits to just throw away because you're at 6 right now as the runner, and he's got 2 pad campaigns resed and ready to go. So he's getting free money turn after turn. You're not getting free money turn after turn, and then if you ever want to run on that server again, it's -3. -3, and the run. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And again, even after about an hour of gameplay here, the criminal only has icebreakers. And there we go. Boom. That's the bank job we've been looking
Yay.
for. And you know that he's about to get 8 easy credits. Boom.
Boom.
There it goes. Immediate spike in Gabriel.
Went from 5 to 13. Now who's rich?
And boom, look at that.
Everybody's rich.
Every turn,
that was
2 credits. These guys are building themselves up. There's going to be a no-holds-barred run coming up here.
Yep.
No doubt Gabriel's ready to just go in and spend all of those credits. Got all of his icebreakers out. The only thing that can stop him now is a exceptionally high-strength code gate, which I don't think we even have one at this point. You can always spend the cash to get there.
Yeah, 13 credits and 3 on his data sucker. You got to be feeling good about that.
You got to be feeling great.
Gotta be feeling great.
And where does HB go?
I don't know, man.
Is there an agenda?
Uh-oh.
Purged all the virus counters.
Oh, nice.
So
money became an issue.
Interesting. So purging the virus counters means this is what that tells me. That tells me the toll booth is coming up.
Yep.
And the Yogg cannot break the toll booth without -2 strength. It's a 5 strength code gate. So without those tokens, he's not going to be able to get through. So wherever that toll booth is where the corporation is most worried about an agenda being. I have to think it's above the Archer in HQ, and I have to think that there's agendas in this hand right now for the Corp.
Yep.
Have to think it.
I would agree with all of that analysis.
And, you know, you can hit archives, try to get a couple of free data sucker virus counters. But it could be a nasty piece of ice over there for one. Although it was installed early, it's probably pretty weak. And you don't just want to waste runs on stuff you're not interested in seeing. But even at this point, I would not mind seeing those archives.
Because who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, this...
The key to everything could rest in the archives. But probably not.
But probably not. Most corporations keep their trash very clean.
Yes.
Shredded, no ounce of evidence in there.
Shredded and incinerated, from what I hear. And then composted.
Sure gamble again. Excellent play.
Shred, incinerate, compost.
Tons. Look at that.
Look at that money. 17. What? That is absurd.
And he is you can see on the graph on Gabriel's console there that he has officially approached the orange/red stage of credit production, wherein he is richer than he's ever been.
That's right. What do you do with that kind of money as a runner? Other than,
you spend it all on a Gloria run down that remote server. You wait for them to throw something in there, and then you go for it.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that he had the cards, because now him losing all of his virus counters on his data sucker is just completely irrelevant. Who cares?
Irrelevant except for that code gate, that Yogg. See, that's the beauty of Yogg.
It's true.
It's so efficient, but it can't pump itself.
Yep.
Ninja can pump itself. Kuroda can pump itself. But Yogg, you're kind of stuck, which is fine because the only thing that it doesn't break is the toll booth. But guess who's running toll booths?
Everybody.
Everybody. Everybody.
Everybody is running toll booths.
Yeah, and it's an in the run too.
It's a great piece of ice. Is it my turn or isn't it? Let me go.
Gain your 2 credits.
That's such a gratifying feeling, because that investment just continues to get better turn after turn.
Trashing a sneak door beta over there on the runner.
Wow.
So we can tell it doesn't have the MU for it anyway, and seems like that's an early gameplay if he's going to make it, but this is way past that point. Although, imagine a sneak door here. He needs MU for it, but man, getting a couple of free shots of that hand could be a big play here.
Yep. New ice.
More ice on R&D. Install. Of course, you gain from pad campaign, etc., etc. Oh, and he takes 2 bits for the turn.
Nice.
So he's at 14.
He can almost res 2 code gates. Or, what are they? Toll booze.
So it pays through there for his console. That's going to give him some MU. And it's going to now, from now on, not only does he get 2 credits whenever he successfully runs HQ, but he gets an additional credit for any successful run. So successful runs here for the criminals are a big deal.
Yes. It'll be his version of the pad campaign, just not quite as good.
Not quite as good. He can keep running those remote servers and gaining 1 credit, but he can just spend an action to pay and get a credit anyway, so no net gain, but of course any economy at this point is what you're looking for.
That's right.
And it makes those archive runs for data sucker virus counters way more productive. Gain a credit and a data sucker virus counter. Sexy.
Getting ready to flip that next.
Click.
Is it going to flip it? We'll see. There, he's touching it now. Just wait for it.
Welcome to the life of a runner.
That's right. Do I want to do this or not?
You can always just go down to wild side and not worry about anything.
That's true. That is true.
But then what kind of maniacal schemes would
Oh,
be?
yes,
He's
it's a run!
going for R&D.
Yes! This is what we've been waiting for.
Alright, so let's see. First piece of ice. Looks like he paid 8 for Heimdall.
Oh, man.
Oh, baby.
That's a good one.
He's got 2 actions open, so it's not a terribly big deal. It is, as I believe, Heimdall's a barrier. Isn't it a barrier?
I believe so.
I know that I've run into it only a few times because I'm always too scared to run where I think it might be. Looks like it's going to be a barrier. We'll see. Jeremy's usually pretty good at pointing at the ice that he's using to break stuff, so we're going to find out here pretty quick. And you see the downward spike in HB. Their credits just took a huge hit,
That's
but
right.
it's to get a really solid piece of ice out. So what's going to happen here? Probably going to break through.
So it's going to spend a click to do it.
1 action to break 1.
Here we go. Yeah, you got to think about it. This is a big decision, and this is the HB specialty. Is oftentimes, though you can break through these pieces of ice with clicks, it is exactly what they want, because it's like you were just eroding your turn. I mean, you're not going to be able to do anything else if you do even happen to break through.
That's right. Now, a glory run on R&D here is kind of an interesting choice.
Because it's a big gamble, because like it could be a dud.
It's a big gamble. This could run you out of a ton of credits, and then Corp is free to install on that remote server, knowing that you can't muster the credits to get over there.
Yep.
We'll see, man. It looks like he broke with 1 action, and probably breaking with another.
Gotta think about it. It's a hard choice.
I know. He just ended the run.
Ended the run.
Drawn a card.
Interesting.
So he got out of there and drew, and now we're back over to HB, gaining
2 credits
for
for Corp.
And we're gonna pull up Heimdall here, take a look.
Yeah, worth knowing exactly what it is we're talking about.
I've seen it a million times, but only when I'm scared, so I always forget exactly what's on there. So Heimdall is 8 cost to res. It's 6 strength barrier. You can spend clicks to break, and it has 3 subroutines: do a brain damage, in the run, and in the run. So
he broke the brain damage.
Broke the brain damage and
ended the run.
ended it.
That's a big deal. That's a very potent piece of ice. It's crazy. Whoa.
So the corporation looks like
now that we're back looking at the screen,
installed another remote server over there.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's got to be Adonis.
Gain some credits.
Or it could be a snare. You never know.
Could be a snare.
But his money is back up to 11, so he can raise that toll booth whenever he wants to.Res it, excuse me.
Rise from your grave.
It's kind of like raising it. I don't know.
Yeah, you raise it.
You raise it.
Raise it in front of the runner's face.
Haha, gotcha. Pay that money. Now, what would be truly absurd is if toll booth, you paid that money to the corp.
Oh, well.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. I presume that we'll see something like that from NBN, maybe pay 1 or pay 2 to the corp in order to get
more
through.
Modest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem to always run a really good denial strategy. It's funny to see HB kind of borrowing from the playbook of NBN and using what everyone knows to be a superb piece of ice.
Yes. Everyone knows it. You know it. I know it.
I wonder how much they bought that from NBN for.
About $1.
Probably way more than that.
Maybe 1 million of them.
Maybe 1 million.
$1 million.
Maybe that's why they were so poor in the beginning.
That's probably true. But then again, you have to wonder that, like, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You sell me this toll booth, I'll sell you this.
It's gonna be a Heimdall.
Heimdall at a nice reduced rate, because we all hate runners. Let's face it, and we're competing not necessarily in the same markets at all. I mean, you're a media company. I'm a cybernetic company.
Yeah.
So
you probably have commercials on the network.
That's right. That's right. Now's the time when we would like to again thank our sponsor. Haas-Bioroid. Engineering the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Engineering the future. One ridiculous piece of ice at a time.
What's in that remote server over there? What do you think? I think it's Adonis. It's got to be Adonis.
It's got to be Adonis.
It doesn't have to be, but it is.
What if it's a snare, though?
Well, then you run it as your second action. you get anything out of your hand that you absolutely need, and you go for it. At this point, would you prefer them to pay to activate snare? I think I would. I'd like to get some credits out of the hand. I'll lose a few cards.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a wash. Like, to me, credits is essentially a non-issue for Bioroid with those 2 pad campaigns, which it seems like Jeremy has kind of resigned himself to just being there, even with all of his money. It's like, not worth the action, not worth my money, yada, yada, yada. I need these credits to get through all this stinking ice.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of accepted the fact that Corp is getting free money forever now.
Yep. He's kind of biding his time now. He could switch gears here. He could trash both of those pad campaigns right now.
That's right. Still
have a pretty decent bit of money, and then start to try to run through some of these servers. But at a certain point for the Corp, they have so much ice standing up that, they're not going to be hurting for money, even if you're making runs on them. So Jeremy throws down an Armitage. He's going back to work.
Paying them bills. You got to imagine that, like, I'm assuming in the future, the internet has been curtailed enough that you're paying by the amount of data transfers that are occurring, so he probably has a big surcharge on his internet bill.
Absolutely. So Gabriel looks like a surfer. So the last action, go ahead and plug some cash into Armitage.
And a potty break.
And it looks like Ben gets up. I think in just a second, as I remember. He just got up, maybe stretched his legs. We are, after all, playing a card game. It's hard to remember that, and sometimes you don't want to remember.
And we're approaching our 67th minute. Oh, we're back. So it was an Adonis.
To a flurry of activity. He does res Adonis. Gets 2 from pad campaign. Now he's getting 3. He's getting 5 every turn for the next 3, unless something's done, and I can only imagine that Gabriel is going to do something.
That's right. Oh my goodness, 5 pieces.
Another piece of ice.
What is going on?
And remember, each piece past the first rung, you have to pay 1 credit additional for. So once you get to the 5th rung of ice, you're paying 4 credits for it. He only has to pay 3 because he gets 1 back when he installs, but still.
And then he used the other actions to get some credits back.
That's right, which tells me...
Uh-oh. Gonna trash Adonis.
Trash Adonis. But it tells me that, there's definitely an agenda in hand.
Yep.
It's just waiting to be developed. Either that, or he has not drawn into an agenda, and all he's doing with his turns is getting ready till he does.
Yep.
Heimdall is making the deck pretty safe here. Going to be very expensive for a one-shot out of 49 cards.
Yep.
At an agenda there.
And then, not only that, you'd have to wonder what Jeremy is thinking about that piece of unres ice on HQ, because he hasn't at least made any sort of inclination that he's willing to run there. What is he? Does he assume that it's a toll booth? Does he assume that that's just going to be something wretched, and he doesn't even want to think about it?
I think he assumes it's a toll booth. I think we all have to assume that's a toll booth. Does that mean you don't run it? I don't know. I think you still have to take a look.
Because there are 5 pieces of ice down on a remote server. He probably has something really potent protecting his hand now, which if he's putting down a 5th piece of ice, I'm thinking that he either has it in hand already, that agenda that is about to go down, or he's just really cautious and planning well in advance.
Yeah.
But at this point, I would go ahead and assume that there's something great in his hand, and I would take that chance at HQ, even if it is a toll booth.
The thing, and this is kind of a win-win for the court, because, Jeremy takes a shot at the hand, might get the agenda, but more than likely spends a ton of credits and gets nothing.
Yeah.
At which point you can install the agenda and know that it's completely safe over the course of the next couple turns to develop and score. Now, all these HB agendas, the NBN has breaking news that it only develops for 2, but HB, all theirs are 3 or more. So, you know that you're going to have to install, and if you develop twice, you're still not going to score it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be there for a turn. The runner's going to have a chance at it. Jeremy knows it. Ben knows it.
But also, let's not forget that, I always forget the name, but HB has that crazy card where you essentially pay to get an extra click. So he could develop it all in one turn if he wanted to.
Labor, if he's got the cash, for sure. Jeremy goes back to work for Armitage.
What's it going to be? What's it going to be?
Data Sucker moves over. Now that he has 1 MU for Femme Fatale. Now, ooh, interesting play. Femme Fatale comes in for 9. It is a Sentry Breaker, and it puts a token on something you can bypass. Though all those subroutines, I'm sorry, bypass that entire piece of ice by paying 1 credit for each subroutine on that piece of ice. So he can pay 4 every time he hits Archer and just bypass it completely. Now,
that's a gamble, though, because like what does that say about what Jeremy thinks about that piece of unres ice? See, in my mind, that makes me think that he doesn't think that that's a toll booth.
I think that that's correct. And so he has 1 action to take advantage of this. Otherwise, we know in our heart of hearts that an agenda is going down and going to be scored. Maybe he'll pull it.
We'll see.
This is a huge gamble here.
Oh my gosh! I hope it's a run.
Is he playing? Is he running? What's he doing? What are you doing?
Come on, give us a run. Give us some bread and butter.
I'm so curious what that is.
I know.
Is it? It's got to be a toll booth.
Well, you said earlier that you caught a glimpse and you thought it was.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, an inside job.
Oh, pro,
awesome.
Pro. Just bypass that.
Bypass the first piece of ice. So if he reses toll booth here, nice. So he's going to bypass toll booth. He's going to go right into Archer, which he has perfectly 4 credits to pay for.
Boom, boom, boom.
Breakthrough, goes down to 0. This is kind of what he banked everything on. He's got to get an agenda here out of hand. He has got to, or this is going to start looking really rough.
This is a pretty big deal. So there it goes. How's he going to break Archer?
And the Corp, again, down to 3 credits, but going to start building up hard with Pad Campaign.
That's right.
Gabriel, played by Jeremy, is going to work for Armitage a little bit, but after that, that's his last Armitage. That's pretty much looks to be the last of his economy. But the successful run here is going to net him 3 credits, 2 for his identity and 1 for
broke all of those
console.
Subroutines with his credits.
Bypassed Archer, goes in, yogs into Victor for free. And this is a huge pull here. What's he going to get?
What's he got?
Agenda. Boom.
Yes. Success.
Nailed it. Totally worth it. Good job. Wow, that was excellent.
So now he is up to 4 agenda points, the most we've seen all game.
Jeremy, wow.
It's a big deal. Congrats. Congrats.
Okay.
So, back to HB.
Now that's interesting. If that was the agenda that was getting ready for, boom,
no, see,
probably has another one.
He probably had another one because there was a lot of defensive stuff going on there. So
yeah, that hand was probably chock full. So 1 down and gain 2. We can only imagine that's an accelerated beta test. It has to, I mean, he's going to spend his next turn to spend 3 to get it. And
what?
There's no way that Jeremy can get down there.
But there's no way. But worst yet is that if it is an accelerated beta test, that's gonna be almost impossible to come back from, even if he gets 1 piece of ice out for free. If it's like another Himdall or something like that, see ya.
Yeah, tough. Or another toll.
Or a toll booth anywhere.
Just nasty.
Not good. Not good. But now Jeremy, not his turn, but he is going to be a little short on cash, so that pretty much guarantees that those pad campaigns are never going to be trashed.
I don't think they'll ever get trashed.
Yeah.
I think this is a race against time now. We're going to infiltrate down there, and it is an agenda.
Interesting. Oh, man.
I think it was a beta test. I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah, I didn't get to see
I believe
either.
it was a beta test.
But, man... Oh, man, that is what a tease, because it's like, what do I do? How can I get down there?
At that point, it's like, why even check?
Yeah.
I always am curious about that.
You're never going to put a trap behind 5 pieces of ice.
An undeveloped trap. Like, if that was a trap, why wouldn't he have developed it a few times?
It's true.
There's just...
Well, maybe he just wanted to know how many points it was worth? I don't know. Maybe that will tell you it's like, okay, I'm at 4. If it's a 3-point, I'll try to run for it. But otherwise, I'm just going to wait. He's only at 2. I'll let it pass. But, man, if it's a beta test, he's going to get top 3 cards, look at them, and free ice.
Yep.
Free powerful ice. HB has crazy ice. We all know it. You know it.
I know it.
So there's a lot of judgment going on here. You have to like really understand what your priorities are, and I don't know, be willing to take a pass on a piece of ice that you might otherwise be able to score just because, hey, it's going to be more trouble than it's worth, and I need to build up my bank account before I even do that, and all these kinds of things. It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right. So right now, you know, Jeremy's looking at 2 walls of static. Let's assume nothing else gets res. 2 walls of static. You can pull 1 off Data Sucker, pay 1, and then pay 1 to Pump Corroder, pay 1. So we're looking at all 3 of his credits are already blown just on what's being looked at. If any piece of ice comes up that is not a code gate of 3 strength or less, he can't do anything to it. Roto Turret, he can break through with Ninja, but it's going to cost him 1, which he doesn't have. So it looks like he's going to have to plug some time into Armitage and hope for the best if he wants to make a run here. Otherwise, he's just going to have to accept that agenda is going to get scored.
Yeah. Which is a terrible feeling, that you are
Absolutely.
just being resigned to the inevitable, especially in a game like this, a game that's so open-ended and organic and interesting, where you have the ability to try to shape your destiny and not necessarily be overly constrained by rules. It's just like, oh man,
Chooses to draw a card.
I got nothing. You just got me.
Yeah, Bank Job is always looming here too. That
true.
Sweet influx of 8 credits.
It's true.
Unless Jeremy has some more secret tech. We've seen some influence out of him. I don't know if those are all of his splashes. Hard to know. Hard to know. Ooh.
He's thinking. He's got 2 clicks left.
We see a new thing come down from his console. He's recognizing that he does have 4 agenda points scored. He's only 3 away, and now it's getting really intense for him.
What do I do? Do I build for the future, or do I do something in the moment? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This is the kind of thing that keeps me up nights thinking about this game. It's like you have that dream and you find yourself in this scenario. It's like, oh, what do I do?
Second action, third action, third action.
Come on.
I don't know who I'm pulling for here. This has been such a good game so far.
Yeah, it's been a great game.
Third action, Stim Hack. What? Another Anarch borrowed technology. Gives him free 9 credits for the run. He's going to take a brain damage for it. But he's got 9 credits now to spend, so he probably has an easy shot at this server. His worst nightmare is maybe a toll booth or something that he can't get through. Other than that, he's good to roll here. Let's see what he's got.
But interesting to note that, yeah, a toll booth would sink this pretty much right away. Ben is having to consider some things, so more than likely a toll booth is not protecting this server. So, okay.
Chooses not to res the top.
No resies. Flipsies.
And Archer again.
Whoa! Whoa! Not expecting that.
See ya, agenda. Back down to 0. A sentry, but this is a sentry that's pretty easily broken.
It is.
Archer is... A lot of people fear Archer more than maybe they need to, especially with Ninja out. It's just not that great.
Strong subroutines, cheap to res, good strength, but like you're saying,
it's going to cost him.
Yeah, it is going to cost him.
He's going to have to pay. Yeah.
But like we were saying earlier, now this is his second Archer. He's given up 4 agenda points in order to get this far with just for resing Archers.
Yep.
And it's a strange give and take. I mean, at a certain point, I would feel bad. Well, I think in almost any situation, I would feel bad for giving up an agenda to res a piece of ice, especially the second time.
Especially if it doesn't keep him from getting in there.
Yeah.
We'll see if it does. So the Archer gets -1 strength from that Data Sucker. No more tokens on it. And he's going to spin to Pump Ninja and break those subroutines.
But still, 4 credits left with HB.
Alright, then he goes next to the ice wall. Or, I'm sorry, not the ice wall. I always think of wall of static.
Wall static, yeah.
Classic piece of ice from the corp.
What's it going to be? Now, what costs 4 to res in HB? Is Enigma 4?
No, Enigma is 3, but that Yogg is just going to go right through it.
It's true.
It's no problem at all. Stim Hack Gets through the wall. And that's the end of that. He's spinning all to break everything on that archer. This is an important piece of ice.
What do we got?
Looks like an ice wall to me.
Yep.
So it pays 1 to res the ice wall, which puts an interesting situation on things. Just a 1 strength, so he's going to cost 1 to break, which he'll do. And then he goes to the ice wall, or that wall is static, goes down to 0 and scores that agenda. Incredible stim hack. He's going to take a brain damage for it. But look at that, the perfect amount of credits that he needed. Scores, goes to 6. And we're coming in here on the 90-minute mark of this game. And it's a tough one. 6-0, but that doesn't exactly tell the tale of this game. 1 more point left. It's going to be so hard to get back in this game as the Corp.
And it's really been a fantastic game thus far, just because it's been a roller coaster ride for everything. Credits, agenda points. It's fantastic. This is a truly excellent game.
Absolutely. And so we have the Corp sitting at 3 credits and 0 agendas. Gabriel, played by Jeremy over here, 6 agenda points, but only 1 credit. HB starts their turn off, gaining 2. And I can only think that they're going to try to throw some agendas down there and get them executed post-haste.
So now, with everything that just happened...
Gained a bit, developed twice. There it is.
Was particularly rezzing that archer on the last run. Do you feel like that was a mistake? Because he still got through there, or did that archer need to come up regardless?
That archer's probably going to come up anyway. The interesting thing is, it got him to spend a lot of credits, which, of course, you want. I, personally, if you have the stim hack going, the only thing that Gabriel lost there, that Jeremy lost, was a couple of credits, really. Yeah. Everything else was from the stim hack. He was going to take the brain damage anyway.
Yep.
If you res the archer later, whenever maybe there's not a stim hack in play, Gabriel has 6 or 7 credits and can't get through. It could be a lot more of a surprise and a lot more feisty ice there for him to deal with.
But worse yet is the thought that if Jeremy has another stim hack again,
absolutely,
it's game.
You know now that he has it. What that outermost piece of ice is, we don't know.
Do you just draw to the stim hack, and then as soon as you get it, it's like GG? What do you do?
Assuming that's an agenda down there, and you have to assume that Ben is trying for an agenda.
Because I would assume that that's not a 4-cost res piece of ice, the 5th piece of ice there on that remote server.
No.
So if not, if he can do the stim hack before, he can do it again. Doing some work.
Do some Armitage, going back up to 3, which is exactly where he was before the run started last turn.
And then
he's going to gain, looks like, more credits. So he's plugging away hard at Armitage, trying to act like a normal person. And going up to 7, just an honest working man. No hacking here, no running. It's fine.
All my work is completely legitimate.
Although I don't know that Armitage does completely legitimate work.
Yeah,
either.
Probably not.
Code busting has a certain ring to it.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the Sudoku of the
And
future.
the last thing he's going to do is just take credits. He's just building up to... he knows he's going to have to get down that remote server eventually.
That's right.
Now is not the time. And there we go. 4 to develop. And what do we got?
Boom.
Ooh, priority requisition.
Oh,
2
another
Heimdalls.
Man.
So priority requisition cost. It took 5 total to develop. It's worth 3 agenda points.
That is hilarious.
Putting the HB system in good shape here. They're back up to 3 agenda points, and now we have an R&D that is pretty much not going to get run on.
Yep.
And a remote server that's open. HQ still got the toll booth with the Femme Fatale Archer. It's relatively open if he gets another inside job. We'll see what happens.
But man, what a good score. It kind of makes me wonder though, like, had it been me, I don't know where I would have rezzed. I guess knowing which 2 pieces of ice are down on the board there, but it's like, do you protect the chance element that he's going to get a nice piece of, what am I brain farting here, agenda points off R&D, or do you protect the future and res that 5th piece of ice for free? It's weird.
We don't know.
It's weird.
We don't know. And whenever you're 1 agenda anywhere away from losing the game, protecting everything that can possibly give the runner that agenda point is critical. So having the double Heimdall there, he didn't look like he was going to be in the kind of cash to res that anytime soon. So it makes sense that maybe he dropped that one. Easy mark for the first time in the game.
Free money.
Weird that we haven't seen more of those early on.
Yeah, I'm sure he's uber happy to see it. But now he's essentially back up to where he was with the combination of the 3 credits plus the stem hack. So sitting pretty at 12, he can run that same server again, assuming that ice doesn't come up.
He's taking his time. He's building credits, and I don't blame him here. I think personally I would be building until something goes down on that remote server.
Yeah, totally.
He's got him in the pocket here.
Because Heimdall, or Heimdall.
Drawing a card.
How are we pronouncing that?
I say
Heimdall. Yeah, you don't want to run through 2 of those. It's just a bad idea.
And the hedge fund, much needed here for the Corp. So that's the first action.
Going up to 9.
Can he get back in this game with the agenda points?
We'll see. He'll have to do it quickly, because 6 to 3 is not where you want to be as a Corp. Not just whole or anybody. The runner,
Nope.
Anybody.
Nope.
It's not looking good. 1 point away. Oh.
And he's going to take 2 credits.
More money, more problems. You know what they say.
Back over to the runner. Both of these guys. This is a tense moment. We don't know. The next turn or 2 is a big deal.
It is. It's a pretty big deal.
It's pretty. I mean, this is going to be the game.
Uh-oh. Had to do a little bit of a reset.
A bit of adjustment here. Nothing has changed on the board, though. And 11 credits, 3 agendas for the Corp, 12 credits, 6 agendas for the runner. Pretty well set up here. You'll notice that this criminal setup is very resource light. Only has 1 piece of hardware out. Borrowed a lot of tech from the Anarchs here, and really it's pretty been just attacking servers.
Holy.
Inside job once again on HQ, so he's going to bypass that toll booth, and then he's going to pay 4 to bypass the next bit.
This could be it. This could be it.
All he needs is 1 agenda here. Gains 2 for successful HQ, gains 1 for his console. And
that hardly cost him anything.
And which one? Crucial moment here.
May the force be with you. Man.
And it was a piece of ice.
It's not what you want to see.
That's not what you want to see. You know there's ice.
That's right.
And you know it. Man, and spending an inside job that could have been used on that remote server later on, maybe on that Archer.
It's a gamble, man.
What a gamble.
I know. It's such a gamble. But man, it was that exciting.
And he's searching his deck.
Game, but it wasn't. So close.
Where are the deja vus when you need them from the Anarch side?
It's true.
Seems like he's borrowing everything from the Anarchs. Maybe he has some deja vus in here too.
I don't know. What's he doing?
Third action is going to be to draw a card.
Cards.
And a bank job would always be welcome here.
That's true.
Just to really bring the credits home.
Because HB is going to continue to just swell up again. It's looking really pretty right now.
And an easy mark
easy
again.
Mark. Good. I'm just going to need those credits. So 2 more for HB.
Starting the game. Pad campaigns have just been wrecking the economy.
Yeah, MVP.
Without those pad campaigns, can you imagine?
No, this game would have been over a long time ago.
But it looks like Ben kind of built his deck around this idea. He has a lot of expensive ice, and he's got the pad campaigns. He's got accelerated beta test to get it out. He's got priority rec to get it out. So he's definitely got some tools to make his deck sing with this expensive stuff. There's the agenda. We can only assume he installs it.
Gets a credit.
And then it develops it twice. It's that simple.
It's just that easy.
And you're just saying to the runner, you're saying to Jeremy, come and get it.
Yeah.
Because you have to say, I don't think that you have enough cash to get through whatever piece of ice I'm going to res up top there.
Especially if it's a toll booth. Which it's not, I don't think. I think we saw a pretty good glimpse. It didn't look like it.
Man, but if it was, what a beautiful setup.
It was beautiful. So he's thinking, what do I do?
With the magic of YouTube, also, we know that we're nearing in on the end of this game, which only makes me even more nervous and excited.
That's right.
Anxious. Isn't that the combination of nervous and excited?
Yes. Let's say that it is.
Anxious. I have anxiety. Netrunner causes anxiety, though.
That's why your hair's falling
That's
out.
why we play. More than any game.
That's why I've got the shakes.
More than any game I ever played.
You have the anxiety?
The Netrunner creates such a positive anxiety experience. It's unreal.
It's awesome.
It's because you always feel like you may be doing it wrong.
What if you are always doing it wrong?
Well, you gotta win. If you're winning, you're not always doing it wrong. But
are you winning?
It's like, yes. Always. No, it's like, what server do you run? Where is it? Like, it could be on the top of the deck, and if you're on HQ, that's a mistake. It could be in HQ, and if you're on the top of the deck, it's a mistake. It could be the remote server, and you could run that. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, where to run, what those pieces of ice are, what order of actions do you take? I mean, do you prep first, or do you spare those actions, like in this case, to break some subroutines and all this kind of a thing? There's so many, like, permutations to consider that positive anxiety is the natural result.
and you don't even know, I mean, at this point, you don't even know if the corpse splashes 1 toll booth or 3. You don't know if they have 2 archers or 3 archers.
Oh, I splash at least 2 toll booths.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be great.
Most people probably splash 3. But do they? I mean, maybe they didn't have the influence, because he's already running archer. You see an ice wall there. We see toll boosts. What else could he be running that?
Uh-oh.
Forge activation. We're going to get to see, finally, what that piece of ice is.
Spend it or lose
Res
it.
it or lose it. And it's just an Ichi, looks like?
Yep.
Not just an Ichi, but it's an Ichi.
It's an Ichi. That's a good piece of ice.
Trash program, trace. Doesn't end the run,
But now he has a predictable roadmap to getting to that agenda. There's no more mystery. What's down there? Is it worth getting to? And can I get to it?
correct. And he has 3 actions to figure that out. God, can you imagine a bank job, gaining 8 credits, and then making that final run with 19 in the bank?
It'd be beautiful.
Can he get through it? You know, the way I'm looking at it, so he would take the trace 1 off of Ichi. He would give the corp 2 credits off of Archer. He would break through the 3 barriers. So, really, it's not going to be terribly expensive for him to get through this. I think almost exactly 11 or 13 looks to me like. As I try to calculate it in my head, not looking at the cards very closely.
See what it's gonna be.
And Ichi, if I'm not mistaken, I'm certain that I'm not mistaken, is a strength 4 sentry. So that's going to be a ninja bump, and then breaking those routines is going to cost 1 each.
Yep. That's a fact, Jack.
Now, for those of you who are, I guess, new to Netrunner, congrats for making it this far. Some simple things maybe we should have explained earlier. You know, the way you interact with ice. You have to have an icebreaker that can break the type of subroutine that matches the piece of ice. You've got to get your strength of that icebreaker to the strength of the piece of ice, or exceeding it, and then you've got to pay to break the subroutine. So you've got to pump your strength before you can interact with the ice. Then you've got to break through it all if you want to break through it all. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't need to break certain subroutines.
I'll go ahead and take that in the run.
Yeah. And there's nothing worse than making a run knowing or thinking that you can get through, only to find out that you've made a fatal miscalculation when you get right down to the end of the stack and you don't have enough cash. And you can see he's calculating it out. He's actually talking out loud his plan to Ben. And saying, hey, I think this is how it works. I'm pretty sure it's going to take this many credits. Should be just enough, right? Right?
Am I right or am I right?
Who knows?
Right.
Now, he does have actions to break through Ichi, too, so he wouldn't even need to pump its strength.
That's right.
At this point.
Just break, moving on.
Run, break, take the trace. Who cares about brain damage and tags if you're winning the game?
That's right.
And
but what if it's a trap?
Oh, well.
It would be the most well-laid trap in the history of this game. And behind 5 pieces of ice, 2 developments.
Can you imagine going all the way down there only to find out?
You've taken all the damage, and then
now
it's
notice.
like,
Oh, this is interesting. Notice how many cards that Jeremy has.
Yes, 3.
He's only got 3, which means if that is a June bug, he's gonna flatline. He's gonna lose 4 cards out of his hand.
And worth noting, at least for my part, I don't know how this game resolves. Have you seen this?
I have not seen the resolution. No.
So who knows? Okay, Is it happening, or are we just running it through again?
We're not sure yet.
Okay, we're planning. He's kind of doing the hand shrug.
All right, so he did make the run. He started the run. He
click,
broke.
click.
There he breaks Ichi with 2 clicks. He's going to take the trace, of course, which is going to take another card out of his hand. So if
can you imagine? Can you imagine? This is oh my gosh. This is when you want to be like the body language expert and like read.
It's an account siphon, looks like.
Read Ben, because it's like, oh man, he's making the run. He's gonna try to get here, and then I've got Junebug waiting for him.
You've got to think at this point, right? If he knew it was an agenda or a trap, I mean, I guess he's just gonna let him work through it and see.
You got to earn it.
So he's gonna break Archer, all the ones that matter at least. He's gonna let him gain 2 bits. Break, 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 and what do we got?
Oh my good gravy.
It was a trap.
It was a trap. Good game. Best laid trap ever. Like we said, that was beautiful. Hilarious.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Flatlined. Done. So, there you have it.
That was amazing.
There you have it. Runner just had to know, and...
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? No.
I cannot believe
that. We're going
that.
to be going through, like, all of our games in the future. It's like, hey... Remember that Junebug from Worlds?
I'm going to have nightmares about that. I'm not going to run anything ever again when I'm playing this game. That is terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Incredibly well played game by Jeremy. You've got to give it to him. Running his heart out, and Ben laying an excellent trap there at the end.
Machiavelli over here.
Fantastic game, guys. Thanks for watching. This is the first of many of our Netrunner Worlds, and then, of course, games from the store and any games we can get a hold of. We'll be putting on our YouTube. So if you enjoy Netrunner, feel free to subscribe. If you want to play Netrunner and play better, of course, we have cores and packs on our website. You can also sign up to our subscription service. Yeah. Making life easy for runners and corporations all along. It's like a pad campaign for your data packs.
For your data packs.
Every time.
Automatically get your data pack whenever it comes out.
That's
shipped right to your door. Anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world.
So take advantage of that, guys. That also is going to help us keep doing our thing, keep supporting us in what we're doing. And we thank you guys for watching. Take care and stay safe, because being a runner in this world is not easy.
Never know when you're going to flatline, man.